Hello, everybody, and today we're doing What If Deku Was a Demon, Part 6. Yeah, that's it, guys. So, no recap, don't really need one, because don't ask, it's quite late. And we continue this off right as Izuku's being pulled into the infirmary by a recovery girl, as she immediately puts him under surgery. And since he was so injured, they had to postpone the next round. So basically the next day. Izuku Todoroki wakes up as he tries to get up, but his back is super sore as he looks to his stomach and sees lots of bandages, and also looks over to his leg and says, "Oh, thank the Lord," as there was no hole or bite mark or anything. So Izuku looks over to Recovery Girl. She says, "You are way too reckless back there. You didn't plan that your arrow would run out, did you?" As Izuku says, "I didn't realize. No, I got too reckless." As she's like, "Clearly. You need to work on that. Clearly. You almost died." As Izuku's like, "How long have I been out for?" As she says, "A day." They had to postpone the entire festival. As he then comes out of the infirmary a couple hours later, and they start up the UA festival again. As Midnight says, "Welcome back, everybody, for round 2 of the UA Sports Festival. And let's see what our second event's gonna be." As she spins a wheel, and after a couple seconds, it lands on ding, 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 the cavalry battle. As she starts explaining the rules, Izuku remembers to himself, "So if I'm gonna have 1 million points, all the stronger kids are gonna go against me, most likely." As Izuku had his friends Ochakuraka and this girl named Mei Hatsume, along with Tokoyami. And yeah, I don't know Tokoyami's full name, by the way, guys. I don't. So Izuku remarks to himself, "Okay, this team can work." As they begin the battle, Izuku quickly realizes that his injuries are going to majorly hold him back, and that this is simply not well for him at all. And when he tries to use his demon art of volley, when he hits the ball over to someone's handler, it hits not hard enough, and it nearly trips them. But the animal, well, just the person who's holding everyone, keeps their ground, barely, nearly breaking their ankle still, because if you've seen the anime, whoever has the volleyballs and the 4 hands is very strong with how they hit them. So Izuku, okay, one sec. So Izuku says, "Okay, sorry guys, I need to focus," as he throws the ball back into the air and spikes it down. As it's about to hit the same person, they go to jump over it, but it curves up with the arrow and hits him down. As he immediately is put on his side, his entire team falls onto the ground and is eliminated. Izuku began doing this to some normal people that would not have made it either way. But they still get more and more in points. Eventually, though, he sees Shoto's team is coming over to him. And Izuku immediately says, I won't let that happen, as he makes a massive wall of invisible arrows. And when they run into it, Ida immediately gets his leg scratched by the arrow, as Ida says, I can't get past there. If I go through, I'll literally be cut like cheese. As Todoroki just remarks to himself, we're not getting past that defense then. As Bakugo actually then comes from above and just barely gets over the arrows. As Izuku says, he's so lucky. As he uses one of his arrows and smacks him down onto the ground. As Bakugo was like, no. As over the loudspeaker it says, Katsuki Bakugo is eliminated. As he screams, no! And his entire team is also out. Who will we replace them with? Just some background characters that are going to be eliminated in the first round. Yeah. Except Bakugo doesn't get to the finals. Oh my gosh. What happens then? Just forget about that. That never happened. Because, yeah. So, when the timer finally does run out, though, Izuku and Todoroki look over to each other and say, I'm gonna beat you in the finals, because they were on the opposite sides of the bracket. And Izuku starts out with Shinso. As Izuku thinks to himself, okay, so I got to remember what Tailman told me. Don't answer any questions. As when we go over to when the match starts, and Shinso immediately is like, must be lucky to have a father like him, right? The number 2. As Izuku was poked in one of his very big nerves, figuratively. As Izuku just dodges the question. And Shinso is like, so it seems you know what my quirk does. That won't help you. I wonder, how nice is he to y'all? You won't understand how everyone else has it. As Izuku just steps back and says, this jerk. As he says that in his mind, and starts running over to Shinso, and with his arrows starts pushing him out of bounds. But Shinso then asks, you guys are so lucky, you scum. As Izuku is like, how dare... As he immediately freezes, but the arrows just about push him out. As he's hobbling on the ground, he says, oh, no, come help me. As Izuku immediately blitzes over to him and tries to yank him back up, but Shinso falls and just curses to himself like, I was too slow. As we go on to the next round, and we're going to just say it's Hatsume. And as always, she does do her little performance, but it doesn't last as long. As Izuku just says, I'm bored. As he throws his arrows into the arena, and they just push Hatsume out when she flies up into the air with her rocket boosters. And Izuku, being happy with his victory, goes on to round 3. And he obviously goes on to defeat Ida, as you'd imagine. And in the finals, meets his brother, named Shoto Todoroki. And they begin with a face-off, as Izuku says, this is for what happened to father. You think you had it bad? I have it worse. As they immediately rush at each other. As Izuku uses his arrows to try and throw Todoroki out, but Shoto saves himself with some ice. As he somehow knew where to burn the arrows, as the arrows immediately just fall onto the ground flat. And Izuku thinks to himself, wait, I can do that. As he gets out 4 of the volleyballs and says, volley mode, arrows. As he hits them all up into the air, and they all immediately start doing zigzags. And one hits Todoroki into the back, throwing him far into the arena, making him face plant quite close to Izuku. As the other 3 come racing towards him in a triangle-like formation, going to hit both of his legs and his head. As Izuku says, full speed, as they begin zooming and fire even coming from behind them. As Todoroki throws his hand up in a calling motion, and it blocks the entirety of the volleyballs. Keep in mind the ice was just barely not touching his back to where the around 10 feet up in the air still volleyballs were. So that was very thick ice, but the volleyball still got through like 8 feet of that. So as Izuku says, dang it, as he immediately, with his full power of his arrows, throws the ice out of Todoroki's way and says, I will not be defeated. As they keep battling, and eventually gets to just a scuffle, as Izuku nearly kicks him out of bounds, but Todoroki saves himself with his ice. As Izuku says, just use Father's quirk. You know you can finish this battle. We are dead even. You just have to use what you're scared of, Shoto. It's not his quirk. Lots of people have fire quirks. Lots. Not just Enji Todoroki. Not that person. You're not him. Just because you have his quirk doesn't mean that's who you are. That doesn't mean it's who defines you. As Todoroki is like, you're right. As he immediately erupts into flames and says, I'll make this quick. As he begins charging up a massive attack, as Izuku says, I might as well use my strongest move too now. I've never shown this to anyone. As he sends 300,000 volleyballs up into the air and makes one massive hand out of the air, in the air, and powers it all into his right arm and says, full power, slam dunk. Full power, spike, as he slams it onto the ground, as both of the attacks collide, but obviously one is superior, as both of the kids are blown back, and when the smoke dissipates, and Cementos obviously tried to interfere, Izuku is barely holding onto the ring. He's just barely hanging on still. He's right at the edge. And Todoroki is inside. No. Everyone, zoom back. I'm sorry. As Todoroki is holding on by just a little bit, and with tons of ice behind him, laying on its back, says, I'm not out. As Izuku is shown to be indented into the wall, like 3 feet, as he falls onto the ground, unconscious. As Todoroki knew, he was holding back. Why? He could have used both of the styles, and he knows that. As he walks away, being named the winner. And Todoroki obviously was not happy with his winner at all. And that, everyone, is where I'll be leaving off on part 6 of What If Deku Was a Demon. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this What If, we want you to comment for a part 7. So yeah, I'm probably going to do it either way. And yeah, this is Clone Stories signing off. Goodbye.